Hello people, I'm back with another video of drawings to review this week. I hope you are all doing well with your art goals, and let's all work through the really hard parts together. So I went into this week without a concrete plan of action other than I wanted to draw something with strong graphical elements. So I went onto Pinterest and found some references that had high contrasting shapes with a simple shape for a background, and I sketched it with charcoal pencils in a really cheap sketchbook. And this was the result. I tried smudging the charcoal around like I have done with other drawings, but the paper in the sketchbook was so smooth that it just gave a horrible effect, like someone sat on it. I can't really describe it other than it wasn't the effect that I was expecting or going for. So I went back over it and I tried to fix it up a bit by going over with more charcoal. But by then the shock of doing something so horrible eroded my motivation to continue. It was doomed to be a bottom drawer drawing forever. I thought about it as you do, trying to figure out where it went wrong, and I thought that perhaps it would have been better done in pen and ink instead, and left it at that. So I break out the pen and ink, something I haven't done for a while, and I did this portrait study in a different but still cheapish dollar store kind of sketchbook that I hardly used because I'm saving up all my supplies for when I can do better. Silly, I know, but I think most beginner artists might be familiar with this feeling. But anyway, I enjoyed that the pages were slightly off-white, but I soon discovered that this sketchbook wasn't going to be able to hold a lot of water. Being stubborn as I am, I persisted and still persisted to this day in making this damn sketchbook hold my ink washes. I think I have a problem. I tried using white gouache to lighten up some areas, but for some reason at the time I went ham on the white. It wasn't even something that I thought about when I started, but there it is. I was happy with the sketch afterwards and I got a little confidence boost, and I decided I would continue doing this for the week, and that's when it started going downhill. For some reason, I feel like I do a sketch and think, okay, I like that, I'll keep doing that, and then I lose the ability to do it again to the same standard, or I really struggle with it, usually both. I don't know why that happens yet. It certainly makes me feel when I draw something, when I like the results of, that it's a one-off fluke. I want to build consistency in my results so I can be confident that I can do at least that much, but I'm just not there yet. And this sketch was hard. What I found extremely difficult were the eyes. I was losing control over the ink, and at first the eyes looked like they came from different people. So I break out the white gouache to try and fix it, and I spent the next 40 minutes or so messing around with it and broke through the paper in parts where I used the dip pen and accidentally pushed it right through because it was soaking wet. Clearly, I didn't have the patience to wait for it to dry, which made it virtually impossible to fix. The result doesn't look too bad at first glance, but I didn't want to use the gouache in this way. To me, it's obvious, like using whiteout on spelling mistakes. The next one was done on the same day. I just didn't want to stop when I felt I had failed already, so I picked another reference with strong shadows and I had a go at it. Again, I was having trouble controlling the ink, then using white gouache to try and fix it. I really don't want to use it that way, but I just didn't know how to fix it. Perhaps I should have just left it to dry and take a break, come back to it later, but I didn't. The nose and the lips didn't come out too well, and I think the backwards tilting of the head wasn't conveyed very well either. I think that's a foreshortening issue that I need to figure out. Again, with practice and repetition, that's all it is. Otherwise, overall, it's not too bad. Phew, this one is a real disaster. I had already lost all my confidence, and that affected my work more than I realised. I tried the upward angle again, and once again it doesn't look quite right. I think I was trying to do too many unfamiliar things at once, using pen and ink, which is something I'm still a beginner with, and then the awkward head angles, which changes all the angles that the features sit on as well. It looks like I really made things hard for myself on this one, and as you can see, I used a lot of white gouache to try and fix it, and it really doesn't do that. So this sketch is awful, and I didn't want to spend the time to post it on Instagram. Honestly, I'm really embarrassed by it. So at this point, I'm really aware of how I'm using the white gouache as a crutch to fix problems with, and I wanted to stop that. I'm worried that I'm not making any drawings that I can say, yes, I'm happy with what I learned from that, but I try again and choose another reference with strong shadows and lights. Like I said, I was scared to try anything, but I have to work through these times and keep going, rely on the process of practice. I did end up using a little bit of gouache, but not as much as the previous sketches, and more as a highlight, which was my initial intention for its use. The result isn't too bad, still not my best work or anything, but I'm actually proud of achieving, well, for pushing through the fear and anxiety of drawing badly. So that brings us to the last one. I actually did this one this morning after taking a break over the weekend from all that frustration and disappointment. I'm including it in this video as it was done practicing the same methods as the previous ones. And while doing this one, I tried not to think about it in terms of it coming out good or bad and just focus on practicing the parts that are hard for me, which is laying down the ink washes in places where I want it to go, trying to minimize unwanted bleeding, that is, waiting for it to dry a bit, and trying not to use white gouache to fix mistakes. I did use it around the eyes a little bit, but I also was trying to limit to where the highlights were, so I guess that's okay. Okay, so after all of that, clearly I have a lot to learn and practice feeling comfortable with. Perhaps I need to feel comfortable with making ugly sketches as well. I really have trouble accepting that outcome sometimes. I feel like I should be able to do better, and when I have pieces that I'm happy with and get a confidence boost with, I think, oh, okay, hopefully this is going to be my new normal outcome. And it doesn't always work out that way. So then I'm scared to make something below the new bar I set. In saying that, I think I had a good week this week. Without challenges, I'm not learning anything. So the fact that I struggled this week so much, and most weeks to be honest, means I'm learning to work through something. I should be content with knowing that I am, and I am. It might sound like I'm being hard on myself all the time, but I am learning and I'm not quitting. And slowly I'm going to get better, and I enjoy knowing this, and I'm proud of the work that I've done so far, good and bad. So for anyone watching this that is also learning, tell me what your biggest challenges were this week in the comments, and let's get better. I'm not giving up, and I hope you won't give up either. So let's keep this going and see how much we can improve. Thanks for watching all the way through for those that did. I really appreciate it, and I'm always surprised to see any of my videos get views. I love it. Anyway, so I'll be back next week with another video, and I'll see you then. Have a great week, everyone.